Hey everyone, it's Keela here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for today's soap making video where we're doing one of the Patreon soap design challenges. For this month I asked my patrons to name an alternative liquid to add into my soap, and by that I meant replacing part of the water that I dissolve my lye into with another liquid. Now depending what was actually suggested and drawn out would depend upon how much I use. For example, if it's something like seawater, I actually do a 100% replacement on that because I don't need to freeze it. But when it comes to doing things like milks and juices where you need to freeze it before putting lye into it, I generally only do a proportion of my water so that I can safely dilute my lye while I'm here in the shop because I don't have a freezer. I put all the suggestions into a soapy pot, and the one that I drew out came from Adele, who runs Tree Change Soaps, and I'll leave a link to her business down in the description box so you can go and check it out. She is another fellow Aussie, and she wanted to see me use pomegranate juice, which was something I'd never even thought of using. It's a really rich, vibrant red color, and I didn't know how this was going to affect the soap, but I'm always up for a challenge. Now I was able to find my pomegranate juice in the local supermarket. I went into Woolworths, but I'm sure you can find it in Coles as well, and I decided to do that sort of part water replacement with it because it would need to be frozen. But let's go and see what happens when I use pomegranate juice in a soap. Let's go. So we're all set and ready to go. We've got our oils down to room temperature. I've got my lye water and my pomegranate juice as well. And I'm being a little bit daring. I was only going to use 100 grams worth of pomegranate juice, but I actually upped it to 150 grams just so we were actually using a fair amount. Now, if you've ever watched any of my past videos, you know I don't do full liquid replacements. When you've got something that is really high in sugar like this, it really needs to be frozen and then have the lye added directly to the ice cubes, and I don't have access to a freezer in my shop to be able to do that, and I don't want to be mixing it at home and then transporting it in the car. So whenever I do liquid replacements, I have a portion of my liquid which is used in the lye solution. So we've got 150 grams there, and then what I do is I deduct that amount that I've got in there from the water it tells me to use to dilute my sodium hydroxide with. So I took 150 grams off my water to give us a slightly stronger concentrate of lye here, and then this makes up the rest of that liquid. Now what I then do is pour that alternative liquid into my oils. I never pour it into the lye water because those sugars will scorch and the lye water is likely to turn brown. So we've got our pomegranate juice in there. Now already it's going a sort of reddish color, but I highly doubt that color is going to stick throughout the soap. So once I get this all mixed up with the lye water as well, we'll split it out for some extra mica colors. Well, that definitely didn't hold that lovely red color it went. It's got a really yuck, disgusting, I don't know what sort of color. But on saying that, it is actually playing quite nice at the moment, so we won't mess around too much. Hopefully we can get some better color in this soap and we're not going to end up with something completely disgusting. In here I have some really red and some black oxide mica because I really wanted to get a rich dark red in here. Really hoping this works. Quite often though, when you do add things with sugar into your soap, it goes this really pooey color and then it does come back. In this one I have some extravagance gold because I always associate the pomegranate as being that sort of really royal fruit. A lot of cultures do associate it with royalty. There's also a lot of religious belief behind it too. Now I've actually just realized I don't have any spatulas. Now we've got some spatulas, we can start scraping our buckets. So yeah, I've gone with that gold because of that sort of regal belief that they have. Going for that red not only because of the fact that the fruit is red, but also a lot of the religious sort of beliefs behind pomegranate as well just inspires that sort of red color. In here I'm going to add in some apple reds. We're gonna get hopefully a slightly lighter red as our main base, and then we'll have some beautiful drops of that really dark red and gold throughout. So I'm gonna get this mixed in. Now the fragrance I'm using today is actually called Pomegranate, and I've had this one from off of Scent Method. So I'm going to pop it in here. Now for me, it doesn't quite smell like pomegranate. Just having another smell of it. It actually smells to me like a kid's medicine that I've had like many years ago, like a Robitussin or something. It's got that sort of real sweet, fruity, not a terrible, horrible medicine smell. Gosh, I really sell my fragrances, don't I? It's not a terrible smell, but it smells like one of those medicines that were really sweet and fruity, just to try and entice the kids to actually take them. To me, pomegranates aren't necessarily that sweet. They can have that slight bitter taste to them, especially if you eat the white pith. And I can tell you, the pomegranate juice, after I'd actually poured out what I needed, I had a little glass of what was left, and it is actually quite bitter. Not bitter, but it's not sweet. Definitely not sweet. It's not so bitter that you can't drink it, but you can definitely taste that sort of what the fruits do taste like. But anyhow, the fragrance actually is quite nice. It is quite sweet, so hopefully it doesn't have a whole heap of vanillin in. The website said it doesn't, but I haven't yet worked out whether Scent Method actually just tell you vanillin, or if they tell you ET vanillin as well, because quite often these websites are telling us that it's got no vanillin, and yet it's got the synthetic ET vanillin in it instead, and that's what sends them brown. And it can be so frustrating when they don't tell you exactly what is in these fragrances, but we'll find out. Anyhow, I've got that all mixed in, and because I have got so many sugars, I'm not going to mess around too much more with this one. I'm making a right mess today. Alright, so I've just grabbed my mould, and look, I finally pestered Lee from Wicked Lee Goods to make me some bits to put into the ends of my moulds, so that these two that I've got, which are slightly too small for the mould, now doesn't matter. It doesn't bow out at the end. Now I am actually going to go more for drops in this one, so I'm going to pour, let's pour it all in. I'll scrape in a bit, because yeah, as I said, I don't want to miss my chance with it. I can see it's thickening now, but we're just going to go for a very basic drop in here. This is going to be a part of the little extra range, or the, what's it called, the limited edition with a little extra range of soaps. We're not actually doing an awful lot with this soap, so I actually do 3 different types of soaps in my range. We have the limited edition, which is usually just a soap that's been poured with lots of swirls, no decorations, no extra little bits. It's just a basic soap recipe. And then I have what I call the decorative soaps. So they're the ones that we do, like the Christmas ones with all the elves on and all that sort of thing. And then we have the limited edition with a little extra, and that's where we put in things like essential oils, exfoliants, juices, anything that is extra to my recipe. And then I actually keep it relatively plain as well, because the focus of the little extra is the little extra ingredients. So for this one, it's going to be that pomegranate juice. Alright, get this bucket scraped out, and then we'll get these little jugs scraped out. It has actually now thickened, but giving it a quick little mix does loosen it back up. The colour is coming through better than I was thinking it was going to. going to get the chopstick and do a swirly top on here, but I'm actually thinking what I might do is just put my spoon in and drag those colours across the top. I don't often do these. I do often reserve the spoon tops for the limited edition soaps, but I just felt that, yeah, pushing these colours over were just going to be the perfect way to finish this one off, because I did, if you've ever watched any of the sort of Halloween and Christmas soaps, I have treated myself to a new pot of the gold cellulose beads, and I want to put some of them on the top of here just to finish off that sort of regal look. And I think if I'd swirled the colours, it might not have worked as well. Alright, so there it is. See, I've got myself a big pot of these beads because I really like them. They really finish off the soaps well, and as I've said in other videos, a little goes a long way with them. So I'm just going to do a quick little dusting over the top, and that will be it for this soap. So again, it is all about the pomegranate juice. It will produce a really beautiful lather because of all of the sugars that are in here. But there it is. That is our pomegranate soap. I'm pleased that the color is coming through a lot better than what it looked like it was going to do. We will leave this one sit overnight, and we'll be back shortly. We'll cut it open, and hopefully those colors pop even more. Okay, we are ready to cut into the pomegranate soap, and I'm pleased to say it has taken on a red color. It's a little bit brownish, but hopefully it won't brown up too much. We'll be able to see when we actually cut this open to see if any browning has happened. I'll be able to show you that once we cut it open, if it has. Let's get it lined up onto the cutter and make sure we've got a couple of nice soap ends here, and then straight through we go. Oh, and it's actually quite soft, and I think, yep, one of my wires has just snapped, which is not good. Let me see if I can get some pliers so I can pull this one out. So it's kind of like stuck halfway up the soap, so I'm just gonna pull it tight and then hopefully cut the rest of the way through that soap. Hopefully that's not damaged too much. It's a bit of a bugger because I have a couple soaps to cut, and I really don't feel like restringing my wire. But there you go. That is the inside of our soap. Really pleased. Now it is going to darken. I can show you what I mean. You can see that slightly darker ring all the way around the edge of the soap there, and I've just realized my nail polish is very much chipped. I am actually testing some to add into the shop, and I'm not very impressed with it so far. Anyhow, I'm really pleased, but you can see we've got that slightly darker edge around here, so that means that this is going to discolor from this sort of pinky color into this darker browny red. Let's see what damage was done here. Oh, it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. It's a little bit of a mark, but that's okay. It's still given us a nice size bar there. I have to go and find the bit that actually flung off across the space. I really like the drops in here. I wanted to go for a bit more of a drop sort of thing because I wanted it to kind of almost represent the seeds that are inside the pomegranate rather than going for swirls. I just wanted it to look like tiny little seeds throughout the soap. Not that I've got lots of them, but you know what I mean. But I'm really pleased with how this one has turned out. So I'm going to send this one off to the cure rack. Now this video will be coming out before this one is fully cured, but if you do come and follow along over on Instagram or even Facebook, I will be posting pictures of it once it is cured, and then you can see just how much this one darkens up. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me as I made my soap using some pomegranate juice. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up, and until the next time, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you then. Bye.